Hey, thanks for tuning into my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how I clean my records. But before we get started, please click that like and more importantly, the subscribe button down below, and you can get notified every time I release a new video. So a few years ago, I was just doing hand cleanings on my vinyl records. I would use a microfiber cloth, some distilled water, and a spray bottle, and I would go through and I would wipe them down and then make sure that they got air dried. But the more and more that I've gotten into vinyl records, I wanted a quicker and easier way and something that did a better job for records that were more heavily soiled. So I just want to quickly show you the front side of the model, the HumminGuru. There is a new version out, at least on Amazon, that comes with the kit that you need to clean, like smaller 45 RPM records. I want to also say that there's something different with the cycle, but I'm not sure. I've not really investigated what the differences are because my HumminGuru from about 2 years ago has been operating fine and I don't feel the need to upgrade. So anyway, when I also purchased this, it also came with quite a few of the filter cloths that go in the reservoir. It came with some replacement wheels and a tool to reach in. There's a filter on the inside of the area there that you fill with water. So there's a tool that you can use to pull and remove that filter and clean it out. It's reusable. You just have to pull and clean it out. I think I've done mine like twice. I've never noticed it being clogged or anything. This is something else that I've added to my cleaning routine that I picked up that you might want to consider as well. It's called TurgiClean. It's a surfactant, basically a detergent that you can add to the water. I use this on any records that I buy that are heavily soiled. They have a lot of debris. Sometimes I'll just use it on older records in general that maybe just have dust on them. Just to help give them more of a deep cleaning to try and remove popping noises. If it's a new record that I buy, I don't use the TurgiClean mixture. I just use regular distilled water. But for the more heavily soiled stuff or the older stuff, I will use TurgiClean. It is kind of expensive. It's like $30 is what I think I paid on Amazon for this bottle, but it goes and lasts a long time. You only need 10 drops per gallon of water, or at least that's what I use. I think the recommended amount is like 10 to 20 drops per gallon. Just make sure you're comfortable with all the information on the label and about the product before you decide to use it on your records. Perhaps it's not going to be right for you, but I like to use it. So moving on, I always have adequate, ample supplies of distilled water on hand. Again, anything that I use that I have TurgiClean in, I always use in the jug. I make sure that I label it poisonous so that hopefully my kids don't use it for themselves or use it for our dog or family pet. And I always use a red lid on it to help make that pop a little bit so that they know that this is part of my record cleaning solution and not to use it. The rest of the jugs are not labeled. They're all plain and it's just still distilled water. I'm going to try and get this on tape. I don't know how well it'll show, but this is just the distilled water. I'm going to shake it a little bit and drop it. And there you can kind of see what that looks like. Now I'll take the one with the TurgiClean in it. I'm going to shake it. And there you can kind of see how frothy it is. It's got the detergent in it, so that's the difference. Okay, so this is the reservoir for the HumminGuru. It just goes in right down there on the side. And this is where you would pour your cleaning detergent into to empty it into the machine. And then you would place it back into the machine. And after the cleaning cycle finishes and it goes into the drying cycle, it would disperse the dirty water into the reservoir. Now, I have modified my process and this setup because normally, if I get this case off, there is a filter that goes right here. And this is made to where you can put clean solution or distilled water in, empty it into the machine, put it in there, use it for however many cycles. Then through the drying cycle, it disperses the dirty water back into the reservoir. And then you can reuse it, having the filter particles out from the dirty water. I don't like that idea. It's just not something I want to do. So I change to new water every single time. And I always use a little bit of distilled water to rinse this out. And I'll show you kind of what that process looks like. But that way I cut down on the cost of having to buy replacement filters. And it's just, to me, a little bit better for the records using clean solution all the time. So I recently found this George Harrison album at our Half Price Books outlet store in Bloomington, Indiana. And I'm very, cautious when I buy vinyl from there, because a lot of times, as I've said in previous videos, it can be really beat up and battered and scratched. So I'm very picky about when I buy those vinyl records. But this really caught my eye because it was George Harrison. I'm a big Beatles fan. It also said that it was imported from Britain. So the cover is not in very bad shape. It's not too bad at all. It's very thin because it's a UK pressing. So there's not much to this. It's very flexible and flimsy. I paid $4.25 for this record. On Thursdays, they do half off vinyl. So the original price was like $9 or something like that, $8.50 something. So I got half off of it. So I bought it on a Thursday. So now I'm going to show you what the vinyl looks like. So here's what side one of the album looks like. And you can see right there, that's an actual hair. That's not a scratch. There, I moved it. So you can see it's a hair. There is dust and particles on the album, but the wax looks like it has not been touched. I mean, if this has been played, it's not been played a whole lot. The wax is amazing looking on this. Now I'll flip it over to side two. So now on side two, you're going to see the same thing. A lot of dust particles on it, hair, that type of stuff. See if I can get in there. Hopefully it's picking it up. But the wax itself is clean, and it looks like there are no scratches, no hairlines, no scuff marks, nothing. So this album is from 1980, and for finding this at a Half Price Books and paying $4.25 for it, I think that's an amazing deal. So having looked at the record and evaluated how much cleaning I think I should do on this, the record is in really good shape. Nothing caked on it, just hair and lint. Since it is an older record, a 1980s record, I am going to use the Turgiclean solution on it. We're going to give it a couple spins in the machine. Then we'll send it into the drying cycle and take it out, and I'll show you what it looks like. So I just got done rinsing my reservoir and getting it ready to add the solution. Hopefully this shows, but you can see there's lines, fill lines on the reservoir. So I'm doing a full-size 33 1/3 RPM record. So we're gonna go to the 400 mark on the fill line. So I'm gonna add the Turgiclean. That should be about to the 400 mark. A little short. Add just slightly more. And it's okay. By that amount right there, I'm gonna have it into the dead wax. So after I've replaced the lid on the reservoir, I'm just gonna simply start pouring it into the cleaner. Once I get it all emptied in, we're just going to take the reservoir, put it back into the machine. Now you'll notice, because there's Turgiclean in it, you'll see that there is foam. And it's because I shook it so hard to show you on the video, and the foam hasn't dissipated yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of blow in there to level that foam out a little bit and keep it from creeping up onto the label in any way, shape, or form. So there you'll see what it looks like after I kind of just blew a little breath in there and moved the foam around so that it wasn't stacked up on itself and surely wouldn't touch the label. Now, once you stick the record in, the record edges go here and here, and there's wheels in there that help spin and rotate the record. So I've got it set for a full cleaning cycle. I'm going to be honest with you, there are two different cycles. There's a shortened cycle and a little bit of a longer cycle. I always use the longer cycle, but I honestly cannot recall what the time frames of those are. There's also two drying cycles also, and I have it set to do the longest drying cycle. So now this will spin in here. It'll get several rotations in before the cycle ends. And since this record's a little bit older, I will do 2 cycles using the TurgiClean. Then I will empty the reservoir. I'm not going to show you a video of all this because it's redundant, but I will empty the reservoir and I will start doing a cleaning cycle in nothing but distilled water to get all the TurgiClean off of the vinyl record. All right, so I just completed the 2 cleaning cycles using the HumminGuru. So now I'm going to switch out the solution with just distilled water. So to be able to do that, because the water is still sitting in the reservoir down there, I've got to send it into the drying cycle. And the drying cycle will end up and flush the used water into the reservoir. And there you can see it emptying into the reservoir. Now I have to shut this down as soon as the reservoir fills up, or the drying cycle will start. I don't want to dry it with the TurgiClean possibly still remnants on the record. So to do that, all I do is pull the reservoir once I know that all the water is empty. Sounds like it is. And I do that and I pull it, and that stops the whole process. Now I'll refill it with just distilled water, and we'll do 2 or 3 cycles, emptying the water each time. I should have showed you this earlier, but when this was going through the cycles with the TurgiClean, it completely cakes the album with liquid coating. Whereas when you switch it out and you add just the distilled water, you can tell it's got like the bubbles on the album from the water being on the album in the grooves. It almost works like it's totally cleaned it so much that it's water repellent. Anyway, that is kind of a difference when you run it with the distilled versus running it with the TurgiClean. So I just finished the last distilled water washing. You can see how shiny the record is looking, and I'm getting ready to send it into a drying cycle now. So again, it's going to empty the used water and solution into the reservoir. I've actually already done that and dumped the water. And here in just a second, you're going to hear the drying start and the record will start spinning. Now you might have to send it through for a second drying cycle, even though I've got this set to the longest drying cycle possible. It doesn't always get every little bubble off of it. So sometimes it does take 2 drying cycles. So at the conclusion of this one, I'll see if it needs another one, and if so, I'll send it through. And when it's done, the next thing we'll do is I'll videotape what the record looks like once I pull it. So I just got done pulling the record out of the HumminGuru. I wanted to try and give it some natural light so you guys could see what the vinyl looked like. That is side 2. Bring it inside here so you can see. Hopefully you can see that shine. You got all those dust particles for the most part off of there. Looks like there's still one or two there. I'll flip it over and take a look at side one. And here is side one. Again, the vinyl looks great. It's very clean. We do have a dog, who sheds a lot. So we fight the pet hair problem quite a bit. But you can tell that the HumminGuru got all that dust and hair for the most part. Looks like there's a few like right there. But it did a really good job cleaning it all up. So hopefully you enjoyed my review of the HumminGuru and the process that I use to clean my my vinyl records. I've already got another one in there, and I'll probably end up cleaning about 10 records probably this afternoon. Stuff I've been backlogged and getting done because we've been so busy as a family. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this. I really appreciate you guys checking out my videos. I'm new to all this. I'm probably not always the best spoken, well-versed person in the world. But you know, at least you hopefully walk away feeling like you're getting an honest opinion, and honest recap of my experiences with stuff. So anyway, I really appreciate it. I need subscribers. So if you would please subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. And as I wrap up every video, I just want to say, please take care of each other and yourself. And I will talk to you very soon. Thanks. Have a great day.